Over the last month, Bitcoin has seen a correction of about 17.5% from its current all-time high of $108,000. And as we move into 2025, many folks are wondering whether or not this is an advantageous buying opportunity or if this is actually the start of a large-scale correction or potentially even a bear market. What's up, guys? It's CryptoDave here at Top Tier Signals, and in this video, we're going to discuss both of those scenarios that I just mentioned, as well as my thoughts on where Bitcoin currently stands in this market cycle and whether or not I think that this is an advantageous buying opportunity. So guys, if you like this type of content, definitely make sure to check out the channel, give it a subscribe, give it a thumbs up, all that good stuff. It definitely helps the channel. And if you like what you see here on the channel, make sure to join our Discord. We have a lot of really cool stuff coming this year. You can currently get access to our custom entry sniper indicator, as well as over 20 premium trading analysts between stocks, crypto, and Forex that are all going to help you profit while you learn how to up your trading game. So guys, definitely check it out. Without any further ado though, let's jump into the discussion. So guys, as we like to do here on the channel, we're taking a look at the Bitcoin performance since cycle lows metric. This is a very great metric because it's going to take Bitcoin's performance from the absolute bear market bottom, and it's going to take you through the entire 4-year cycle that follows, which would be, of course, the bull market, getting that bull market peak, and of course the bear market to follow. So it's a great reference point for how the current market cycle compares to previous market cycles and what we can expect from sort of a time frame as well as a percentage return standpoint. So at this very moment in time, we are actually underperforming our previous 2 cycles, which should be anticipated, of course, as Bitcoin is expected to produce diminishing percent returns every cycle. Of course, we will not see every cycle be producing such a large bottom to top move like we've seen in the first couple of cycles, especially in the Genesis cycle. However, this certainly suggests that we are not in any sort of overheated environment at this point. Bitcoin may be a bit aggressively valued, but it is not overheated to the point where there is no more room for upside or where there's too much money in the system or too much leverage or anything like that. So I think if we're just basing it off of a percentage return metric, we are not in anywhere outlandish territory. And if we are considering the time frame here that is given based on this model, we wouldn't expect a Bitcoin top until at least April of this year, potentially going into the fall of 2025. So until we see any real decisive signs that we have a change of character as far as this overall market cycle is concerned, I would treat corrections as potential buying opportunities. But of course, you want to exercise the proper patience and risk management to actually take advantage of these opportunities. So based on our model, we understand that there's plenty of time for Bitcoin to continue during this bull market before we would expect an eventual peak. But beyond that, we can see that since our 2022 bear market bottom, we have had 6 pretty substantial corrective periods, each ranging from about 20% as high as 30% from top to bottom. We are currently at around a 17.5% correction. So this is already somewhat in line with what we've seen historically the past couple years, but we could of course take it a little bit further. And I want to show you guys what this might look like. Taking it to present day, I do see a little order block here right around this $86,000 territory. And if this level were to be tested, I would really want to see the bulls hold this level as support rather than nuking below this level. A big reason that this is important is because since we broke our all-time high back on election day, we did not really have any sort of price action between our previous all-time high figure and that $85,000 to $86,000 territory. It was far more of a straight shot than anything else. There were no bids, there was nothing else. So if we are unable to hold this sort of order block here on 85 to 86K, there is nothing in between that range and our previous all-time high level of $73,000 to base any sort of significant levels off of. I mean, there's a tiny order block down here, but there's nothing significant. So if we do get that drawdown to about $85,000 to $86,000, it's very important that we see that level hold, because otherwise we might be looking at a much longer term correction for Bitcoin. And if we were to come down and tag $85,000, once again, this would be another 21% correction, much like the corrections that we've had throughout the 2022 to 2025 period. Another metric that we've tracked pretty closely here on the channel are some of the daily exponential moving averages, specifically the 21, the 50, and the 100 daily moving averages. These are all very common for traders to look at, and they give us a general idea of the strength of the trend at play. Of course, we notice that when these shorter term moving averages are trading far and above the longer term moving averages, then clearly we have a nice strong uptrend at play. And the way price interacts with these moving averages when they're tested can be very telling. So what we want to avoid is any sort of bearish crossovers. We don't want to see this 21 EMA crossing below the 50. We don't want to see the cloud crossing back below the 100, so on and so forth. We would like to see that when we come down into the cluster of EMAs, and when these EMAs compress upon each other once again, that we do see support coming in. We do see a new basis of buyers reestablishing that demand and pushing price higher. We see it very consistently throughout time that when we have these moving averages trading above one another, and when Bitcoin is treating these moving averages as support, we have nice healthy uptrends. And the same can be said in the inverse, of course, when you are treating these EMAs as resistance time and time again. Of course, it is a strong indicator of a strong bear trend. So of course we just want to keep those moving averages in line. So far we've held the EMA cloud pretty nicely. We had a pretty large wick that came down, almost tagged that 100 EMA, but not quite. So far so good, but of course we are still sticking in those lower highs here on the daily time frame and lower lows. Another fun way to look at things here is on the 4-hour time frame. We sort of have this bullish falling wedge type of price action. Of course you have your series of lower highs. The first two are going to give you that upper trend line. The third one of course confirms it. So at this very point in time, at the point of recording, we are currently testing this upper trend line, the ability to stick in some sort of higher high compared to just about a week ago. So that would be very nice to see. Of course, we do expect some resistance here, so this would not be the place to be going long, but this is just the structure that we're working with for now. Of course, having some lower lows come in, that sort of bleeding out type of price action. But the point of the matter is that the longer that we compress within this structure, the more that we hold these lower time frame levels here as support and then as resistance, the closer we will be coming to a decisive move. So I just want you guys to keep an eye on some of these lower time frame metrics here. Whether or not we can break above this trend line and set in a higher high would be very important. If not, we're going to want to keep, once again, that $85,000 level on our radar. Now, swinging it back to the daily time frame, the last thing I want you to consider is Donald Trump's inauguration being next Monday, January 20th. Now, of course, Donald Trump has garnered a lot of optimism from the crypto space specifically. He campaigned very heavily for the crypto folks and, of course, made a lot of big promises. This, of course, drove a lot of the optimism that has fueled our move from the mid-60s all the way to $100,000. And many expect that even on day one, he could be doing a lot of really big things. Now, we're going to make a separate video that details those things, of course, to be posted in a couple of days. But I just wanted to keep that on your guys' radar here, that we had the election date back here November 5th. Of course, we pumped right through the election. We had a major run up to about $108,000, and we have since tapered off. Right, so we're just a couple of days out from that inauguration date. And previously, I treated this as sort of a sell the event type of situation. If we were going to pump very heavily into that inauguration, it might have been getting dangerous to be exposed there. However, we've done the opposite. We've actually bled downward and sideways coming into his inauguration, so it could be more of a buy the event situation. So Bitcoin shop sideways and traps traders and all that good stuff, but quietly in the background, Bitcoin dominance is doing something very significant. Not only did Bitcoin dominance make a large move to the downside, sticking in its first lower low in a couple of years, coming in below the 20-week and the 50-week moving averages, and we have since set in a lower high. And we have talked about this on the channel quite a bit, that a huge telltale sign of the later stages of a bull market on the true altcoin season, it's going to be this Bitcoin dominance metric, the ability for this trend to break to the downside, to see a true change in character, to no longer be able to hold this moving average cloud, specifically the 21 EMA more so than the 50, right? The inability to hold this level as support is going to be huge. So far it has held up, but we stuck in a significant lower low, and we are currently working with a lower high. So if we fail here to find any sort of support for Bitcoin dominance to make another move back upward, I really think that altcoins are going to start to steal the show, especially if Bitcoin can make its way back to price discovery sometime after January 20th. Regardless, guys, I just want to make that clear that we are sticking in a lower high for Bitcoin dominance, and subsequently altcoins have set in a nice higher low, and they are gunning back towards these all-time highs right around $1.13 trillion. So the market structure looks very healthy for altcoins overall, and it does not look very healthy for Bitcoin dominance. I don't really need to tell you guys what that equals. We are very likely entering those exciting moments. So guys, just to reiterate the thesis here on the channel, we are viewing Bitcoin's current price action as another mid-cycle correction, like we've had several different instances since the bear market bottom in 2022. I think with patience and proper risk management, you have a really nice advantageous buying opportunity prior to Donald Trump's inauguration. And I really think that should we move back upwards, should the market move back upwards, I truly think this is going to be sort of those couple of months where altcoins really steal the show away from Bitcoin and produce those accelerated returns that everybody is looking for. We're going to continue to follow all this stuff here on the channel, so make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you join the Discord so you don't miss out on any of our alerts. You can follow analysts such as myself or any of the other 20+ analysts that we have. And guys, until the next video, that's going to do it. I'll catch you in the Discord. Peace.